Hey, welcome to the Death of a Dream podcast. So happy that you are here today. So, my great thing, I think just, actually, yesterday was the first day. So, I had been waiting to title myself as an entrepreneur until I actually made money in this pursuit. And yesterday was the first day that I got paid. And so now I feel like that releases me into this new venture. And I had gotten paid for other things, but this really was my first dollar earned in this new venture. And so that's such an exciting thing. This is such a huge step for where we're going and even what we're going to talk about today. But I think more than anything, yesterday was the first realization that this is a real thing, that this is a real way, this is a real way of living, this could be a thing. And I'm so grateful to have made that first dollar, and it was more than just $1, because I think it just signifies that it's real. It's a real thing. And so now I truly believe, boom, we are an entrepreneur. We made our first dollar. It is a thing. And, it's seemingly so small. It's such a small gesture. It's such a dollar seems so small. But in the grand scheme of things, when you're talking about taking a step and taking a leap, right? Because I wish it was just a step, but taking this big a leap of faith, and just trusting every way, just trusting that it's all going to happen, just trusting that this is the path that you're supposed to be going down. And really, truly, when you're manifesting it all yourself, when no one is sitting there saying, go, 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 you got this, we got you, back it up, you got it. I think entrepreneurship or taking a venture on your own, really, you have to be so strong in that, because generally there aren't going to be people until you've made it. Right? There's not going to be people sitting there going, yay, you got, oh yeah, totally, I'm on board with you. Whatever you want to do, I'm trusting this, right? And it really is all about that manifestation and really just trusting and really having faith and really following through with those things you say you want to do. So yesterday was my first day making actual money as an entrepreneur. And what a huge step. And now I feel like the things that I had kind of been holding off on, the reaching out, the I've done this, right? Those things don't seem so crazy now. Now that it's official. It is officially official. Yesterday, it became official. I am officially an entrepreneur, because those were the things that I read. You're not really an entrepreneur until you make money on your own. And I did. So there. How about that? And that's such a big thing. And, it's not to say that we're done. But I think more than anything, it's just proof that you can sit down, write down dreams, write down goals, carve it all out, and start working on it. And, looking back a year and a half ago, looking back, did I ever imagine that we would be in the place we are today? Not a chance. Right? Did I dream that that's where I wanted to be? 102,000%. I dreamt of all these things. Right? And that's the power of your mind. That's the power of your movement. Movement and mind can take you anywhere. And so my great thing from yesterday was, boom, ding, ding, ding. We made money. We are a money-making venture. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to the club. We are an entrepreneurial group. Not that everybody has entrepreneur in any form of their title that they want to be. That very much has been my process and my goals. That doesn't have to be yours for you to belong and find space here. Because we're really about this obsession with conquering our mindset and living life on our terms, right? So that may not look like building the business of your dream. That may not look like building an empire, but you still have space here. It doesn't have to just be that. Not all of us have that power under our belts. Not all of us, and it's not even like a superpower, right? But not all of us want that. And I think forcing you into wanting things that aren't true to your heart really isn't fair either. I can't be of service to you trying to push you to be braver than you want to be. I want you to find what it looks like for you, right? And I want you to uncover if there are things that you've been holding back from. I want you to uncover those things and start, more than anything at all, living life on your terms. Period. That's it. I want you to have a say. This is your life. You create and manifest anything that you want. You absolutely can. Do not sit here and think that you can't. And so if things like entrepreneurship or podcasting or writing or whatever are a part of what you want to do, then I'm following that path. But everybody's got a different path, and everybody has a beautiful path and ability to bring their light into the world. And there will never be enough of what you're offering. I promise you. Right? You can always even beat out the big dog, right? This week I was in South Dakota. My husband had work. He had a work venture and or some sort of training, something. I don't know exactly. Anyway, so we decided that we would go out. And there was this town that we stopped in, and here where I'm from, Starbucks and Caribou Coffee, those are really the only coffee chains that survive, and everybody else is probably going to shut down. But here it was the exact opposite. The local coffee houses and local places that you could stop were well beating out the Starbucks and the Caribous of the world. I mean, just killing them. And I only know this because there were way more of those than there were Starbucks and Caribous, and that's the exact opposite of where I live right now. And I think that's such a beautiful thing because you can just make something happen even though it's not happening everywhere else, right? You can bring your originality and concept to the table and beat out other people because of the brilliance of it, right? The coffee I had from one of these coffee houses, it actually is Green Bean Coffee in Spearfish, South Dakota. Best coffee I've ever had in my life. I don't even like coffee that much, but I'm pretty sure whatever kind of coffee this is, I would drink it every single day. It was so beyond amazing, beyond people. You can't even imagine. Anyways, I did put that on my Instagram, so if you actually are ever in Spearfish, you can look up where I went. But it was amazing. And it was more amazing that this little coffee shop is thriving and bringing their amazingness, their individuality into this world and creating something completely different from what a Starbucks could give you. And they're thriving, right? And they're just trusting that this is what they're supposed to do, that they are in the right time, they are in the right thing. And wow, thank goodness, right? Thank goodness other places exist. We don't want to get into this world where only Starbucks exists. So then we miss out on amazing coffee, right? And Starbucks is amazing, don't get me wrong, but man, this, by and large, amazing. So I want you to keep that in mind as you're deciding what living life on your terms is going to look like, as you're taking those first steps, as you're really venturing into the creation and the manifestation of what this is going to look like. I want you to truly remember that the ideas you have, the things that are in your head, the things that are in your heart have value, can add value. Do not just give up because you're not a Starbucks. Come on. Other things need to exist in this world. So don't let big chains scare you out of whatever idea you have. We need everybody. We do. I don't care if you make 4 coffee shops in your town. Go for it, right? Or if you write a book and there are 12 other books on the subject. Everyone has a different way of saying it. One of the reasons that I didn't want to start a podcast or a blog or whatever is because I thought that there really was no worth in what I had to say. I never had anything traumatic happen to me. I never had anything crazy, right? And so as I started telling that story, as I started to talk through what my story could even be, I started to realize that while I didn't have anything crazy happen like addiction or big loss or anything like that, there's this overwhelming sense of pain with the fineness of my life. And that's where the story lies. But I would have never found that had I not started a year ago. And so I want you to just make yourself write those things down. What are they? And don't erase them because they seem too crazy or because the world seems like it's going to be too crowded. It's not, right? There are entire libraries full of books. There are entire bookstores full of books. There are entire everything, right? There is room. There's room. Start making your way in this world. Start. So yesterday I actually have my own TikTok account for this podcast. And so basically that's just like a 15-second breakdown of what we talk about here, but kind of a like fast-paced, punch you in the face, go do it, you got this type vibe. Anyway, so I was on TikTok yesterday and there was this woman talking about manifestation and how it works. And even that the government has produced files on manifestation and the science behind it and how it works. And so I'm going to tell you my story of manifestation and the things that have happened because of this movement. And if you're struggling with the thought of manifestation, I think manifesting what you want really just comes down to saying it. And so many times we just sit back and hold on to those things and, like, if you're like me, sit on our hands, but like secretly hold up our invisible hand like, oh, I'd really love to do that, but hopefully someone will just see that in me and they'll follow it. They'll just call on me even though my hand's not raised. They'll just know, right? That it'll just radiate. And I think manifestation really is about saying those things out loud, and you can trust yourself. Even if you can't say them out loud to someone, you can write them down, and that sometimes is enough. So I think it's a mixture of manifestation and movement, right? So the first thing is the manifestation part, and that's writing it down, saying it out loud. Now, prepare yourself, because I remember when I told my husband that this is what I was going to do. And I remember him and me being equal parts sick to our stomach when I said those things out loud. Like, honestly, when I said what I wanted to do, he replied back that made him physically sick to his stomach. And if you're not prepared for that reaction, I want you to prepare yourself. Okay? And it's okay, right? It also made me sick to my stomach. And so I said, you know what? I understand your reaction. It makes me sick to my stomach, but in an amazing way. I really believe that I can do this way. I truly feel excited. So excited that it makes my stomach sick about this work. And I want you to know that this is what's going to happen. And so prepare yourself, because if you share it with someone who's not quite on that level, and my husband has come a long way from that spot, but I can understand. I can totally understand that was his reaction, because that was my reaction. And I think that's kind of how you know that you've gone down the road of truth. When it scares and excites you, that's how you know, right? And I think that's such a beautiful thing. So prepare yourself for that. If you tell someone, do not let that stop you. I was like, oh, yeah, oh, he thinks I'm kind of crazy. Maybe I should stop. No, don't let it stop you. Do not let it stop you. They'll come around. I promise they'll come around. Just keep going, okay? So I had written these dreams down, and I wrote these ones down in my workbook at a conference that I went to. And I think all of these things now, these dreams have changed a little bit as I've kind of fine-tuned them, but a lot of them stuck. And one of those things was to travel to every state with our girls. Now, this had been something that we had written down really early on, that was something that we wanted to do. And in this course of the last year, I realized that we really had only gone to one state, okay? And we had bought this amazing picture frame with all the states, and it was like a scratch off. And it was amazing. And we would always get excited that we were going to scratch something else off, and this was going to be exciting, and we were going to go do this, and yay. And we would never have anything to scratch off. And for, I don't know, I think I bought it about 5 years ago. For 5 years, we had scratched one state. Now, there are 50 states in this beautiful country of ours. I don't know if you're from this country. If you're not, there are 50 states in the United States of America. And so going 5 years without crossing a state off is about to set us back quite a bit. We need to get this in, right? We don't know how long we have. And so travel to every state with our girls, that was one of the dreams that I wrote down. And it was in accordance with this idea that we want to go see the world. And that's not the world. I'm aware. Okay. We're going to go to other places too, but really, like, what about the world right in front of us? And I don't know, that manifestation part, the part where you kind of dream it into existence, but you also move. I think nowhere in my concept of life prior to the last month and a half would I have allowed myself to just pick up and go. And you heard it, right? We came at you from a car office for the last week. You were a part of that. Now, what was beautiful was the ability to just blog and write in my surroundings, right? Go experience the world. And if you want to see some of the photos from these experiences, you can check that out at The Death of a Dream on Instagram. That's more the business side. And then the personal side is at Hannah Nuss. You can find me on Instagram. But I think I don't know that I would have allowed myself movement here in my past life, because I would have always found excuses to not go do that, to not go give myself that freedom, to not go take those steps for myself because it seems scary, right? You're letting go of feeling important anytime that you leave the constant stream of emails. And so that was a very scary concept for me. I can't leave here. I'm too important. And more than I'm too important, I don't feel valued when I step outside of here, right? And that is a scary construct. That's a scary addiction. I was essentially addicted to that feeling of being needed somewhere and being needed for things that I didn't necessarily know that I wanted, right? And so I think on the side of manifestation, I want you to start dreaming things that you actually want to do and not just dream them in the confines of where you're at right now, right? Because when I wrote this down a year and a half ago that I wanted to travel to every state with our girls, I remember writing that and being like, yeah, okay. That's 50 states. You take one vacation a year. So in 50 years, you'll have that done. Congratulations. How exciting for you. Hopefully you don't die first because you're already 30. So, and hopefully, when your kids grow into adults, they actually still like you and are willing to still take vacations with you. Right? Guys, this life that I'm writing about, that I want to manifest, doesn't jive with what I was doing. And so there had to be change. There had to be faith. There had to be trust in the manifestation of this life that I wanted to live. But so many times we try to fit our dreams into the constructs of where we're at right now. And sometimes that's not possible. Now, sometimes it absolutely is. It just means you're going to have to shift things a little bit. It just means maybe there are some beliefs that you needed to change, right? For me, one of those beliefs would have been that it's okay to not be there for every email and every project. Life will go on without you, right? But that was paralyzing to me. Life cannot go on without me here. And I definitely didn't want to find out what it looked like if it did. Because that means I don't need to exist here anymore. And then what happens? Then how do I find value? Then how am I important in this world? Right? That was a very scary thought to me. And so I didn't really ever want to allow myself room or comfort to go down that path. But I knew that these dreams were true. They were true to me. And in order to start living true to the things that I saw, I had to make a true change and shift in my life. And not everybody's path is going to be like that, but mine was that these dreams that I have don't fit in here. And so we're going to have to change what here looks like. And that was a drastic move. That was a drastic change, right? And you saw it play out all within a day, but it was drastic moves 6 months ago. It was drastic moves 6 years ago. And that was just a commitment to myself and to this idea that I didn't want to live within the confines of misery, that I didn't want anymore to live within these bounds, right? I wanted more expansion. I wanted more life. I wanted life on my terms. I wanted to decide what my life looked like. And I felt like every second before that point, I hadn't. And so I'm still new at this, right? I'm still learning how to walk in this faith journey and truly believe that it can happen. And I've already seen so much happen, right? I've already seen what happens when you just make your mark on the world, when you just put yourself out there, and when you continue that movement. And manifestation is a real thing, right? A year and a half ago, I wrote Travel to Every State with our kids, and we've hit 4 states since writing that. I had the map for 5 years and had only marked off 1. Right? And that's 2 parts. Here's the other thing. You aren't going to put your money or your energy to places that mean something to you if you aren't willing to ever put that stake in the ground, right? I say that I want to travel. That probably means that our money isn't going to go to places that look like everybody else, right? Our house might be a little bit smaller. Our cars might be a little bit older. And that's okay, right? You have the ability to choose where that flows in and out, where you want that power to go to. You do. We just think that it has to look like everyone else, and it doesn't. You can make that choice. If traveling means more to you than driving fancy cars, put your money there. Right? But if fancy cars and boats and big houses mean more to you, then put your money there. That's the beauty of it. You choose. Now, for me, I didn't realize that you could choose. That you make the decision of what your money looks like and how it flows in and out. I didn't believe that. But it does, right? And I think one of the biggest things is you deciding that you're in control of your money. And you deciding that you spend your money on the things that you want, right? So if you want to build a business, maybe your money doesn't go towards a shopping trip every month, but maybe it goes towards hosting a luncheon, or maybe it goes towards buying a building, or maybe it goes towards saving so you can make that leap into entrepreneurship, right? You harness power with money, okay? Money is not evil when we don't just put it towards evil things, right? And evil things include things that we worship over presence, right? So many times we just think that that's what's more important, that rolling up to Christmas in a brand new car is more important than being at Christmas, right? And I think the funniest thing is when we commit to those physical things, when we commit our time and our effort towards those things, so many times that takes over our life. And watch as your stress goes there. And as you are stressed and committing to figure out how you're going to make all these payments, how you're going to do all these things, it pulls your presence, right? You can't sit in a room anymore because your mind is a million miles away trying to crunch the numbers and figure out how you're going to keep everything afloat. And so I think more than anything, you can start manifesting anything that you want, and you have the ability to decide where your money flows. You do. You can just decide today that traveling means more to you than other things. And maybe you're going to rent an apartment because maybe it doesn't make sense for you to own a place. Or maybe you're going to pick up and leave and move around because you want to experience different things. That's the power, right? And when you pull that money back and when you put it into places that mean something to you, you can show up more present in all spaces. So today I want you to start working on the things that are going to light you up, on the things that mean something to you. Start writing those down or saying them out loud. Start focusing on the things that mean something to you. And that manifestation will start to explode. You'll see it start happening in your life. As always, you're smart, you're strong, you're beautiful. What are you going to do? Change the world. We're going to record the intro. Hey, thanks for being here at The Death of a Dream. Today we are talking all things manifesting your dream life and how that works and the different ways that you can decide things for yourself. And, really living life on your own terms and not everybody else's. Just because this means something to someone else doesn't mean that you have to copy, paste, and apply it to your life. Okay? You can show up and decide today to put your stake in the ground, to stand for things you love and believe in. That's the beauty of it. And I want you to start coupling manifestation and movement and start bringing goodness into your life because you deserve it. And I want you to follow your own path, right? There's room for you. There's need for you. There's so much beauty in this world to be had. And I want you to be able to explore that. So let's dive in. Oh, shoot. You gotta stop this.